What's up, YouTube? We're talking about the Derrick White trade. He's going to Boston and is going to team up with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We're going to break it down right now. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. We're talking about all the NBA trades that happened today. And let's just jump right into it. Okay, so Boston, they get Derrick White from San Antonio, and San Antonio trades for Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, the Boston Celtics upcoming first round pick that is top 4 protected, and they have the ability to swap the 2028 first round picks with the Celtics. Celtics are almost giving away 2 first rounders, a young prospect who maybe is worth a second rounder in Romeo Langford, but that's a lot for Derrick White. And I do like White's contract. I don't think it's horrible. And he does fill a need for the Celtics that, they kind of need a guy who knows what he's doing on offense as far as being on the ball. There's too many times where the Celtics are kind of it's just Tatum or it's just Jaylen Brown and they're driving to the basket, and if no one's open, they just kick it out to somebody. I like Boston. They're kind of playing now how I thought they would play earlier in the season. They're playing and locking in on defense. And I think Derrick White adds a little bit of defensive versatility. Is he the greatest defender? Not really. I don't think White's like a world beater. He's not his teammate DeJounte Murray, but he's really good. I think he's actually really solid. So they get Derrick White, and I think is going to probably be one of the more underlooked moves of the deadline. And they give up Langford. Yeah, they give up 2 future firsts in a way. And, we'll get to the 2028 pick in the future. But I think this was a good move for them. Richardson was not really like a big thing for them. And then, Romeo Langford shows promise every now and then. But, yes, I would give him up for Derrick White. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a really good deal for Boston. My initial thoughts. I didn't grade my Mavericks Wizards video, sadly. Initial grade. Give me a minus for the Celtics. And then for the Spurs, you're just loading up on draft picks at this point because you know that you're gonna need them in the future. You need more young players. So for the Mavericks, I will give it the Spurs, I will give it let's think here. I'll give it an A. Pretty good deal for both teams. Both teams get an A in this. I just think that San Antonio is ready to kind of blow it up. It sounds like Pop's on his way out and just is kind of like doing the farewell tour as much as you can as a head coach. And I think that the Celtics just get the guy that they really need. And I like Derrick White. I think he has these games where he just struggles to shoot the ball a little bit. He's a solid defender. I think he's a wise decision maker. And I think he's not bad. Again, this is a move I think, the most impactful moves, obviously. I think, this year into next year and for the future, not thinking about draft picks and stuff. I think the Clippers move of getting Powell and Covington, obviously James Harden going to Philadelphia and Simmons going to Brooklyn. I think this is up there. I really like this pickup for Boston. And I think that they understand, hey, let's go get another young piece. He's on a friendly deal, and let's go. So pretty solid there. Pretty happy with Boston. And if you're a Celtics fan, I think this is a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. Not to be cold-hearted, but White also isn't the kind of player. White is good. I'm going to say that. He could potentially be moved in the future as well. So another young player, and you replace a younger player. You trade away a younger player for a young player, and then kind of just money fill with Josh Richardson. In all honesty, sorry to Josh Richardson. Poor Josh Richardson. He was gonna go to LA or the Jazz or wherever. He goes to San Antonio. Might not enjoy winning as much there, or might not see winning as much there. So yeah, just kind of weird. I just kind of a little interesting. Let's look at cap sheets here before I start freaking out. Let's go with Boston. Let's go with Boston first. So Boston has the following cap sheet. they still need players on the roster, it looks like. This is kind of a smaller roster. There's been talk about them bringing Sam Hauser up, so we'll see if that happens. Whoops. Peyton Pritchard is probably going to go as well. Or not go, but he's probably going to get more minutes in the Dennis Schroeder trade that also happened. I'll be doing a video on minor trades as well, so feel free to check that out. And then Grant Williams, Aaron Nesmith, and Tice, who they also received in another trade. Boston was busy. Derrick White, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Jason Tatum. Pretty fun. Remember, Al Horford's money next year drops because it's a non-guaranteed deal. $14.5 million is the guaranteed money that would be owed to him if they were to not guarantee him. So that obviously cuts this down by roughly $12 million. Does that help them? I guess. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Horford. I thought Horford would be a guy that they tried to move off of. They still have Robert Williams. They still have Smart. They now have Derrick White. Like, that's a pretty good starting five. Tatum, Brown, White, Smart, Robert Williams. Like, that's a good young lineup to throw out there. And none of them are making that crazy of money. Like, Jaylen Brown will be making $30 million at the end of in 2 years. So, like, they're not, Boston is not, handcuffed to any huge contract that's just ugly. Now, you could maybe say that Daniel Tice and that kind of ugly deal that the Rockets gave him is a little crazy. I agree. Marcus Smart's money isn't the nicest thing to look at for the next few years. But it's nothing crazy. I think when we're in 2024-25, you'll look at the Robert Williams deal and say, wow, that's actually pretty good value for that player. So I like what Boston did. Again, this wasn't necessarily so much of a cap move as it was so much as a move for on-court production. Let's talk about San Antonio now real quick. Dragic obviously was traded for earlier today. Won't mention him right now. DeJounte Murray, Doug McDermott. Now you put Josh Richardson into this core. I'm interested to see why they got a player that, like, I just don't think he's like a San Antonio player. Like, he's not a young dude that they can develop. I know that's Langford's position, right, in the trade. Maybe they look to move Richardson again. We'll see. But I don't know. It's just kind of wild. This team is also in a position where they could potentially rebuild. Like Dougie McBuckets, that's not a horrible contract. I know he's a trash defender, and he's not good on that side of the floor. But, I mean, you could fool a team to take that kind of money. It's not horrible, especially like next trade deadline. Like, I think they can move off a bit. Same with Richardson. Jakob Poeltl, they had thrown around in trade deals a little bit, or in rumors. There was talk about him potentially going to Charlotte. He survives the deadline, though. Zach Collins' deal, I mean, I wouldn't keep him. I'm sorry. I know that's cold-hearted, but he's been injured. Lonnie Walker's been trash, honestly. They need to focus now on Devin Vassell and Josh Primo. Those are kind of their guys of the future. They also have Keldon Johnson as well. So they got some young players there in San Antonio. But you almost wonder just what is the next move? Like, what is this next thing that they're going to try to do? This next chapter for the Spurs, as shortly Popovich will be out of San Antonio, and that they'll just figure it out from there. But I do like them getting to future first, because in 2028 we're going to be like, why does San Antonio have like a pretty solid draft pick? Not that Boston's going to be bad, but you never know. That's 6 years into the future. So you basically say, okay, well, yeah, how Boston has this pick from, the Derrick White trade? Whatever happened to Derrick White? I think that's going to be the conversation that we have in 2028. So for now, win for Boston. It's also a win long-term, like really long-term for San Antonio. But I like it. I think both teams accomplished something here. I would have liked maybe a little bit more of an impactful player for Derrick White, but I'm not going to kill San Antonio for that. But that's my personal opinion. What do you think? Feel free to Go into the comment section. Let me know what the Spurs or the Celtics did right or what they did wrong. Do you like Derrick White? I do. I think he's a good player. And yeah, let your feelings be heard down there. We're doing more trade videos today, so feel free to go click on another video and check out all the videos here because we're balling, honestly. We were off for a few months, but now we're back. So anyway, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.